Hello, everyone. We
Welcome
are on to
to
round two of the NEBVEMBER tournament. First game here. Maintenance is a Birch versus the what was it? G Smash G something.
yes, it looks like team's composition swamped a bit. Star is longer in Birch right now. Anyway, Team 1, Team ghyghry is Davinen, Dragonbender, Krulio, and Velocity.
Team 2 OSP is going to be Vren, Secret Mink, Potato Master, and Pyro representing. That would be Maintenance is a Birch. Totally, yes. Anyways, we're your casters. I'm Boy Blue. This is my co-caster Scape GT, and we're gonna cast a game today. And
I'm
oh,
noticing
they're bringing this out.
I'm seeing 4 sprinter balls on
Yep, it's
OS or ANS.
okay.
Yep, okay, yeah, okay, here we go.
Yep. You know, maybe we should have closed predictions
I should have
beforehand.
closed predictions before, because now the predictions are going to swap. Can I close? Ending submissions. I will end submissions in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Submissions ended. We will see who wins at the end. Anyway, taking a look at initial deployments.
I'm actually trying to remember how to close predictions on this. Whoops.
It is very obvious what OSP is bringing. Team ghyghry is bringing the most balanced and fair team comp ever. 4 sprinter balls and a single capper for dagger. Team 2 is a bit more normal here. I'm seeing, I'm not seeing a monitor ball. I am seeing some monitors around the map. Those are likely cap guards. Double liner deploying boxer, monitor up top with a liner. I'm seeing Queen Pomegranate. I wonder who's bringing that one. I'm seeing a journeyman on the A flank with a liner and a couple of gun cappers down low for E.
Seeing No Other Way, which I believe is Kyanite Squadron. I do wonder who that could be as well.
Yes, if
Yes.
I wonder if
OMG,
maybe,
this comp. Well, Martyr of Carrick in chat, aka List there. I hate to say it, but you made the game. You gave us the tools and ability to choose whatever we wanted, and this is what we did. So we're sorry, but here we go.
Yes. We shall see if the quad sprinter ball is. I hope we don't get banned for bringing Penta Journeyman. What?
Quote from the ANS team. Yep.
Where?
That's
from ANS. Wait, who? I'm losing it.
Yeah, David just with the memes there in chat.
All
right.
Sorry, Liz.
Yeah. We had a first game. There was a nail biter, and now we're onto this. So here we go.
Liz, you have to understand.
20 seconds on the drop.
This isn't our fault. We're only casting this.
Yep.
This is
Bren, last already up here. Looks like they're just coordinating with team, planning their final moves, setting up their last positions. So I suppose we should explain Sprinter Ball a little bit here.
Oh god, there it is.
Yep.
Sprinter Ball is a swarm of sprinters that takes the role of CLs, and they are much more difficult to pin down than CLs, just due to their low detectability, their high speed, and ability to rapidly reposition a lot better than CLs will. High caliber guns also overpin sprinters, which makes them a lot less vulnerable to the force that typically counter CLs. So anyway, yeah. Do I even need to do a
believe that these are all more or less the same.
Who brought the capper? Who brought the cringe? Okay, it's Davinen that brought the cringe capper, so I'm assuming these are all the same, right?
Pretty well looks.
Yes, Dragonbender.
Maybe not. Okay, looks like Dragonbender has a copy of.
Yes,
Rolo Jax's or maybe the other way.
Fleet, and I'm assuming that the other ones are relatively identical here. No, Davinen's got Auroras on theirs. Yo.
Davinent with a little bit of tech into theirs. Gun, Bullseye, Cold Spice. They've got all the names here on the nicknames by the looks of it, so enemies can't tell that. Good stuff on that. Anyways,
and Velocity's fleet is also slightly different. Yep, so we got 2 of the same fleet and then 2 different ones. ANS's team comp shouldn't be too surprising here. They're all bringing sprinter balls here. 1 going A, 1 going C, 2 going boxer, 1 high, 1 low, with a capper for dagger. It looks like this is... No, it's just a cringe capper. It was not built. Separated at the last moment. But anyway, yeah, my job is done for describing what ANS has brought.
Yep.
On to you, Neko. That was
Welcome to
easy.
OSP side. Potato Master comes in with some cap guard monitors, 100 mil, and C90 is going to be putting a lot of work into this game if they're going to have any shot at this at all. A pair of these deploying just kind of
They
neutral ground, maybe
have
headed towards
torpedo
B side.
launchers. These things have torpedo launchers on the sides.
Say what? Ooh,
Yeah.
torp tech on the side of that.
Roll-off
That's going to be
size
fun.
3s.
All
Yeah,
right, interesting. Anyways, they're going to make up the cap fleet. They've got some multi-mission tugs just bursting across the map right now, and then looks like a whack of 20 shuttles. Pretty common stuff from the OSP side here. One naked capper going towards C point, and
that cringe capper
it's going to
is
have a
not gonna
time facing off
survive.
against that sprinter ball.
It's not surviving. Do
No.
they know? Anyway, Dragon
do
Bender is
not.
detected on scouts on sensors right now. OSP definitely knows that at least they exist. Multiple bloodhounds pointing in the direction of Dragon Bender. So
Pyro gonna be firing at Dragon Bender, but oh god, Pyro. It's got a mass driver.
Yeah,
It's
mass
a Pyro
driver.
build.
Mass Driver, unfortunately, not going to be doing a whole lot of work in this one.
Yep.
Not the
450.
game, which is
Honestly,
like
the
this
mass
end.
driver probably gonna do more than that 450 will. 100
If I'm
mil
being
or
honest,
120 mil
probably,
lights up that
yeah.
capper.
Um,
All right. Pyrope has got their superhero liner. This thing is, yeah, it's like plant control, 3 plant control centers, 2 gun plotting centers, mass driver, 450. It's a Pyrope build. She is absolutely insane. I hate that I've seen her pull 30k with this fleet.
Pyrope
2
is
picket
a
ships
very
alongside it
skilled
with
player.
Dazzler, no, Grazers. And then
Yep.
lastly, they've got themselves their CIA monitor, providing intel center for the team.
Secret
We're gonna
Mink
see Secret Mink
has
come out
lost.
with.
Didn't get the memo on Journeyman and is actually running this thing as a carrier. I say that
Yeah.
fully knowing that me Journeyman is banned in this tournament, but still.
Journeyman sort of banned. There's a limitation. These have to cost at least 1,001 points. They've got some of their radar skiffs and some of the. Ooh, actually, these are Winard skiffs. You don't see those often. Going to use these as
Sensor
a tech to try and
assets.
spot enemy. Sensor assets. Joining them is going to be a 450 a 250 T20 liner here. Going to be watching over the 8 point. This will do a lot if it can ever hold lock on those sprinter balls, but good luck with that.
Big if there.
Rocket Shuttle 1 and 2, one of them is already super dead. A couple of missiles coming out now towards Vren, who looks like they just deflected that.
Krulo had some hybrids in there. Swarm up top, sends a couple out. Dragon Bender's already lost one of the campers here. It gets graped pretty badly there. The rest of the squadron is fine, though. It's starting to put fire down on Vren as this 450 liner is caught between multiple sprinter balls. Vren
rocking
with,
Kyanite
no other
Squadron
way, final
here is
orders.
going to
This
have
is
a
Kyanite.
rough time against all these light caliber guns.
Yep. Is returning fire. The Bloodhounds coming in clutch here. They are able to main track on Dragon
Yep.
Bender's fleet here, although you can
Dragon
see-
Bender actually make a bit of a misplay here as they suddenly came to a stop and looks like they're going to eat some of these rounds here and there.
They
Not
are.
taking like
No.
irreparable damage.
And this
Still
is
not
why
ideal.
Sprinter Ball, if you don't have the answer for it, is much more powerful than CLs. They are effectively immune to missiles and 450 here. You can see I say
Pyrope
that
comes out with
multiple
size
missiles
2s
immediately
and
hit.
rocket
Of
containers.
course.
And
Yep,
like I
Pyrope-
said, the
Pyrope-
immobilization.
Yep, Pyrope hits. Yep, that's multiple hits from Pyrope there. Hybrid out, returning fire onto Rin. Looks like that's going
Gonna
no
be
other way. That is
2 effective kills there from Dragon Bender. I'm seeing some bombshell detonations there, I wanted to say. Yeah, the monitors
That's
have
from
started
the monitors
bombshelling.
have started to hit. They're firing at the ones that have already been disabled, not hitting the thrusters on the ones that are still active, unfortunately. Hybrid comes in to finish off Potato Master's capper there, just making sure that it will not take the point. More hybrids out.
Speaking of hybrids, Ren
against
looks like they eat
miners.
1 or 2, takes a gun plotting center there. There is some
Not
hybrids
the
in Dragon
biggest
Bender's
hit.
fleet, but they're getting intercepted for the most part here. Looks like Ren has some air
Self-screening jammer.
control.
The SSJ is going to counter those ACT EMMs there. Decoys out from the other one. Those are like anti-SLO. Out the HEKP.
Checks out
Some
since
of them miss. One of
Corvettes
them goes
normally
for
win the
chaff,
gunfight against
probably
these.
Gets comms jammed. A-Red Act goes into one of the liners.
And swing and miss.
Yep.
Right.
All right, Dragon Bender's been pretty well pinned down here, although OSP, looking at the map here, you can see how much jamming is just coming out from these sprinter balls here as
Yeah.
they just push their advantage. OSP without any like SLOs with sensors or monitors to slow down these sprinter balls are kind of just going to get forced back here by this massive push. You can see here at A, Secret Mink is just desperately trying to get this liner into cover. It is unable to
Taking a
even...
look at this, just
It does see...
20
Yeah,
sprinters putting down fire is an absurd amount.
right.
Think about the soft kill and support as well. Each of these sprinters featuring 2 support mounts on the wings there. They can carry jammers or defenders, chat boxes, you name it. You've got to contend with, let's see, that would be 10 each. So that would be 20 times 2. That's like 40 different mounts that can all feature EWAR or such. There's a absurd amount of jamming coming out here.
Right. These swarms are just able to pivot onto the initial point so quickly. ANS here with a 3 cap to OSP's 1. A point completely denied by both sides. The Sprinter Balls do not want to push up into that liner, but also the liner very much cannot push out either, as it is, yep, it's just going to hide behind that rock by A and just prevent them from pushing. Although OSP needs to push at this point here, or at least sometime in the game, due to the points advantage that ANS currently has.
Secret Mink tried to make a play towards A side, but ran into Sprinter Ball there and doesn't want to get their liner isolated. We see the liner already took some damage. Liners with their thin armor makes them vulnerable to this 120 mil. It might not get the damage threshold break on a lot of their stuff, but it will red out the liner very well, allowing the 50 on some of these Corvettes to clean up.
The jamming is just so much that, like, even the Bloodhound, when it was over this Sprinter Ball at B high, was just unable to see it from the range it's at. Although it looks
The
like
Bloodhound
Velocity
currently
gets
a
locked.
little bit wide, can't quite get that lock on.
Velocity
They're
gets locked.
fishing
There
with
goes
it,
the
might see it
Bloodhound.
now.
Yep. Bloodhound pivots onto the target that's locked. It does overshoot the target a bit.
Ooh,
Although
yep, swings a little far there, but
there it
coming
goes.
around.
So OSP knows those ships are there. All they have to do is keep that Bloodhound safe, and hopefully the liners put out enough damage output to deal with that here.
Additional counter might be see Pyrope swing that early warning. They currently got it focused towards the seaside area, just trying to clean up whatever cappers they could there. See if they flick it to the left, spot those 20 sprinters bearing down on their team.
Secret Mink looks like they're going to try to push here. Send out a line ship decoy high and their actual liner down low. Holy cow, that liner
Good plans
is
there.
melting,
We'll see if
Tasty.
OSP makes it work.
Marin's, one of their 450 liners, getting absolutely eviscerated right now by just the amount of fire coming down range. And you can see here why Sprinter Ball is such an oppressive tool if you do not have the right equipment to deal with it. Bombshells now going
Drives
into,
down. Oh no, Vren with a small yard drive. Minor misplay there. That's going to lead to this thing getting mobilized.
Small drive in the big slot there. The drive snipe.
The other one doesn't have it. No, it has regular.
Yep,
that's the fleet editor error.
Yep, that is a mistake from Vren there. As, yep, that one of those liners is going to get caught out in the open.
Mag is going to have a detonation on the one-liner here, the final orders. That's going to hurt them pretty bad if that goes off. They do have a team on it, but that team, like, just with the sheer number of shots coming out here, each of those potentially rolling a crit to inflict damage on a team, you can see these liners get perforated really fast and see their teams get bled out incredibly quick. This is why you run monitors? Yeah, there's been talk about how OSP's been forced to kind of bring Monitor Ball lately to counter even just one of these. And we now see what happens when you get a whole mass of these things, just for the all-in. OSP brought Monitor Ball last round as a way to kind of contend against this. And since the teams have flipped, we see that, well, there's a reason that the G-Smash team brought Monitor Ball the first game.
Yeah, Vren here just caught out in the open here against 2 Sprinter Balls. The jamming is so much that there are no tracks on either of the Sprinter Balls here. They're just going to get annihilated. They can't
Pyrope steps onto C point here, trying to go for a cap here. That's at a lot of RPF on the way.
Yep. One of the Sprinter Balls, what's left of Dragon Benders, is already within range. That's 250 RPF. That is going to tear apart that capper long before it's able to at some point.
Definite also in firing arc if they so desire, but instead they're trying to clean up some of these Winard skiffs. Actually, some of these are radar as well. Trying to head back to their carrier at the moment.
Here. Secret Mink is able to strike some of these things with the rocket barracudas. Does manage to take out a couple, although ANS has just so many for OSP to chew through. We are only probably about 10 minutes into this game, and it's already looking pretty decided, as OSP just doesn't have the counter to this, and ANS is taking full advantage of that.
This is one of the cases where you just kind of lose from the fleet editor go, because all of these assets that we see around the board here, like these 450 liners and such that Vren and Pyrope have brought, their main guns are just completely ineffective against what ANS has on the board. They're limited to just trying to use secondary batteries or surviving with their health bar and hoping the rest of their comp can clean up. And we see now in the final orders in Structure Broken what happens when you get jumped by these Sprinter Ball fleets.
Pyrope sends out a second salvo of the pumpkin bomb munitions that they're so fond of, going into what's left of Dragon Bender here. Although Dragon Bender is probably the least of OSP's concerns at the moment, considering that there are 3 fully functional Sprinter Balls left. Jamming does go out on those containers. These are... Look at the radar jamming on these containers.
Ooh,
These
seeing
are,
a hang-up jammer attempting to be deployed there from Davin and see if they can get some of that. Hang-up jamming does work on these if it's close and strong enough.
A lot of those were
Looks like
C
a couple
and
of these
D,
gonna miss here.
Try and...
One impact on one of the ships.
Other ones swing and a miss. That Therm backup Seeker. Yep, just gonna swing
Command desync a little bit there, but still comes around.
A being secured by OSP here as Secret Mink throws their liner onto the point here. The track quality from the Sprinter Ball is not all that great. No, they were firing at the decoy.
Did work
they were
there.
firing at the decoy, as Mink is going to be able to use the decoy as cover to get themselves behind this rock here. Excellent use from that decoy container from Secret Mink right there, as they were able to fool that Sprinter Ball long enough for them to just pivot into cover there. Jamming out from the Sprinter Ball, although it looks like something's holding probably a cross track on them. Yet that is Pyrope's CAA monitor up top is able to hold that cross track. Track
Early warning radar doing a lot of work here while it can. Very hard to detect small ships like this, but when they get a little bit too close to each other, they will sometimes pop their radar signature up. See, some of them have been equipped with jammers. Yeah, when they get like really close like this, we see the elevation signal go up. That is a 75% increase.
Bren is just like already out of the game right now. Both their one of their liners is just completely dead. The other one is pretty much combat active.
Vren, unfortunately, getting found by 2 players. No ability to fight back within their fleet there. 100 mil secondary batteries are not going to dissuade 20 sprinters from devouring you.
Nope.
Monitors are going to hold their own here for a bit, but I believe that these fleets had come with the tech. I want to say that there's a VLS. Yeah, there's a cantered launch on one of these that I'm betting, has some hybrids in it.
They fired some early, although this is only 2 goalie guard monitors. I do not expect these Sprinter Balls to have much trouble with them. Even with the bomb shells.
Already seeing the C90 getting peppered by that 250 AP.
And this is also one of the things with Sprinter Balls, is that even though the bombshell tech is something that's theoretically supposed to counter Sprinter Balls, the sheer damage output of Sprinter Balls is honestly enough to probably win these fights a lot of the time.
Yeah, the damage output, the requirement for the C90 to remain intact, as we see here, just return fire to immediately knock the thing out. Has to bring the whole monitor onto target. It is a miserable thing. Additionally, with the speed of sprinters like this, we see these ones run with default drives to save points, but these things are incredibly fast compared to your monitors cruising around 20 to 30. The sprinter easily operates in like the 50 to 60 range there. Vren will go critical for a moment breaking locks, but that's not going to do too much.
Secret Bank's forcing Davenant to push in here. Probably a little bit of a misplay from Davenant here. They do not need to push in. Although, that being said, OSP does take a 4 cap here. Whoa, where'd that come from?
Yeah, OSP manages to get a cap onto D point. Dragon Bender is falling back with this. This is one of the things that sometimes people will fall apart with Sprinter Ball. You can detach just a couple of them to go handle a cap point. 2 or 3 Corvettes is still a fierce amount of firepower that you can waylay some of these wayward cappers with.
Dragon Bender sending one of their crippled campers down to Dagger here. Potato Master and Secret Mink have gun cappers in the area, potentially going to be able to deny the D retake here. C's pretty open. Unlikely that ANS is going to get there anytime soon. Boxer back cap might happen as well here, as Potato Master still has a back capper in reserve there. A
cap going down. Couple missiles there from Pyro.
Sprinter Ball pushes onto the point here. Pyro's missiles do come in to try and support. But he's going to hit. Doesn't look like it, although Pyro has good enough track to start getting some crossfires here. Although Secret Mink holding up.
Secret Mink trying their best here with what they got, firing as effectively as they're able to. They do get shots into 1 or 2 of these, but even at this range, some of those shots not quite getting the effectiveness they were wanting. A couple of them, maybe just a little bit desync there, but looked like they weren't doing damage first. Now we'll actually take out some on 1 Corvette. So they're going to have to really quickly cycle those guns onto another one, not wanting to waste damage, as this reload time for this liner is a little too long to be comfortable with this number of sprinters right staring at it.
All this Sprinter Ball has to do is just throw itself onto the liner, get behind it, and those casemates are not going to be too effective. The secondary battery will be, but... Anyway, Secret Mink...
Both C90 monitors having a rough time. One of them not aligned on target at all. The other one has just lost its nose and is basically not able to do anything against these sprinters. It has warded them back a little bit instead of just relentlessly pushing through the OSP's lines. They've taken a second to attempt to step back towards here. Credit to Potato Master for keeping their cool and looking for back caps at this time. They've managed to walk onto the it was Mink who walked onto the D point, but now Potato Master hopping onto B for a brief second. Going to lose their capper, but still buy a little time here. 4 cap adds up a bit for OSP.
Daviden's probably misplaying a bit on A. Still keeping in Fireark of Pyrope here, as Pyrope is just able to do support fire for Secret Mink here. And Daviden's Sprinter Ball is falling apart really quickly here on the A point. Rocket Squadron from Secret Mink comes in as well with a Piranha Strike. Just trying to bleed.
I'm with you on the misplay here, as the cap time is nowhere near close. Davinen did not need to make this commitment onto this A point. Had they just simply gone around wide and taken out Mink's liner, I think they would have absolutely had that in the bag.
Potato Master, yep, able to resecure Boxers. Well, they do lose their capper for that, as Velocity's Sprinter Ball does find them out. Oh, they almost had it. They step off the point. Unfortunate. Looks like OSP is also going to lose C here in a moment, as Crulio is going to step onto the point, pretty much uncontested here. Bombshells are going out from the monitors here. One of the monitors is already structure broken. The other one's still functional, sending shots back, although it is under fire right now.
Bombshell will do work here if they are able to stay on track. We'll see what is currently no jam. There's the jamming. Immediately flicks active. Let's see if it breaks through this or not. Assuming Vren can keep that Bloodhound on target. No, Bloodhound loses its shot there. Is instead going to swing to a different target. Or is it? Not sure where this thing's trying to point right now.
Like Potato Master
early warning radar from Pyrope is
firing for a bit there. No, Potato.
No, these things are all off track on the C point here, as they will move on. Yeah, 10-kilometer range on those jammers will blind any radar within range.
Yep, Davenant has thrown their entire Sprinter Ball away here. One of them detonating on the liner.
Yep, 8 point is going to get bloomed here. No armor left on that liner. This means that RPF rounds can pen the armor. Pen depth is not great on those rounds, but immediately going to see some RPF already flying out here, trying to just get lucky and hit those damage control teams.
Right.
Some more shots coming in here towards Davenant. Honestly, the Sprinter Ball is being bled surprisingly effectively, as I want to say Dragon Bender gave up about half of their number going for the C cap, and then Davenant just kind of overcommitting.
Yes, they've both thrown themselves onto cap points, and you can see what happens at close range in a Sprinter Ball when OSP is allowed to get tracks on them. Crulio and Velocity doing a really good job of staying pretty much protected for this entire game, as their Sprinter Balls are effectively completely intact. Although Crulio is running out of 120 armor saying. Doubt that really
Mink
matters.
coming in here with some Rocket Strike on 2 of these different ones will actually clean up Davenant pretty well. Davenant fully depleted here as they kind of... Yeah, I'm going to flat call that a misplay, YOLOing onto this 8 point when they were not anywhere close to the cap limit. They had all the time in the world to pick this apart, but that's just a throw right there.
Not sure how that's really going to affect the outcome here. Despite the loss of that entire fleet, OSP is still absurdly bled on ability to actually regain territory right now. And the rest of the sprint.
Potato Master is still taking hits here with this. Look,
under
can't even tell which one of these monitors it is anymore. Both of them have been completely destroyed in the front section.
Dragon Bender's moving what's left of their Sprinter Balls towards Eclipse, leaving Dagger open, and Potato Master has a gun capper underneath the map here, as you can see. And it looks like Velocity has also split up their fleet a little bit here, committing some to guard B. The other ones are
Velocity is committing a couple assets, but I think this goes to show that they need to plan a little bit on how they want to do their detachments. Pick one of the ones that has radar, leave it behind on the B point with a friend or two. You will be able to outgun any of these small OSP cappers, and then just take the rest of your Sprinter Ball and continue the aggression, as they have a very lethal fleet, but need to keep doing damage.
Despite not having a dedicated monitor ball, OSP is actually doing a relatively good job of locking down these Sprinter balls here. The monitors, one of them at least, is still effective. The other one is pretty much completely gutted at this point. Although it does get its C90 back on. Both monitors have their casemate guns back up. One of them immediately losing it as soon as it begins to fire. These Sprinters immediately
DC Complex using its restores here. They were lucky with one of the monitors to be able to use up a small DC's restore there. They're going to try and keep these C90s firing, but at the same time, with the structure break and just the sheer rapid-fire DPS of these 250 rounds, once the front armor has been degraded, then even these smaller AP rounds from the 120 mil can get through. If I recall correctly, it's 48 centimeters of monitor armor flat-facing versus, I want to say it's 45 centimeter armor pen for that 120. So you don't actually need that much to start punching through.
It's just a couple centimeters too short when it comes to the armor pin of 128 AP. Anyway, A point is completely secured for OSP now as Secret Ming moves their liner off the point, moving into different spots here. Looks like, are they going to try and engage at Dagger, or are they going to go for Eclipse? Potato Master, their gun capper guarding Eclipse, gets jumped by the rest of Dragonbender's fleet here. It should have no problem cleaning that ship up, as it looks like OSP is probably going to lose E in a moment here. Secret Ming.
In the Cap 4 state, we call this a suboptimal situation as 5 sprinters just proceed to rip apart that T-20 shuttle.
Crulio is starting to, the damage is starting to add up on Crulio here. A lot of their ships running out of ammo and starting to take some damage here, although sprinters.
I think that this is kind of on them for just sitting passive instead of pushing for it.
And they just sat on the point for ages there instead of returning to cover to hold. Very, very curious strategy there. Not what I would recommend.
Yeah, seeing how this went, Velocity and Grillo, they had a wonderful push. They jumped friend with 20 sprinters. They destroyed an entire OSP fleet. They had an advantage. Then they proceeded to kind of hesitate for a second there, not wanting to go too far when they had an advantage they really wanted to capitalize on. B backcap might have set them back for a second or so, and now they've just kind of sat complacent. They need to group up once again and just basically clean up OSP side at this time.
Right. Yeah, Crulio takes
I
a
think
lot
that
of
the
unnecessary
threat
damage.
of the monitors is more than it actually is, because
No,
they're
one of
convinced
them's
C90 bad. I
completely-
don't want to go towards that, but
One of them's completely
really not a
mission
threat.
killed, and the other one is about to be in a moment here. Yep, there it goes. The monitors did what they could, but unfortunately with only 2 monitors, that is definitely not enough to really turn the tide there. Dagger, OSP steps onto Dagger there with the reserve capper that Potato kept under the map there, with support.
Potato
of
wisely
Mink's
preserving their
liner.
assets to late game.
Yeah. Mink is going for Dagger with the liner instead of trying to do an E pick, although Potato Master has an NMT up at E, sends some S2s at one of Dragonbender's cappers here.
Multi-mission tug can actually get some work done since this has been dispersed, and a lot of these are kind of compartmentalized, specialized.
The missiles swing around, finding new targets at the last moment there. Reacquire onto the one that has CMD Val. Unfortunate as the Act Seeker from the MMT catches the wrong target at the wrong time there and swings around.
Command validated, said, yeah, boss, that is in fact a sprinter, although it was wrong one. R2 is going to come around here. Journeyman doing some light cleanup. Love the Journeyman tech for this. Just R2's
The R2 Journeyman's been pretty good here against all these light assets. Clean up Davenant quite nicely on A. And now get some pretty good hits into what's left of Dragonbender there. 2 of them knocked out of combat. 1 of them takes a little bit of damage there.
So let's take a look at the board state right now. OSP is keeping 3 of their ANS is keeping 3 of their corvettes back at the B point to ward off any OSP threat there. Nothing currently. Despite the sheer number of holes that ANS has, their sensor coverage is not actually all that great at the moment, as a lot of them are operating in just these tight clusters. We're seeing some shots from Pyrope's liner here. The mass driver and T20 batteries actually doing a little bit of work here.
Are really hurt here. The squadron's not moving at all. Pyrope's landing some pretty nasty hits now. The mass driver actually doing some fair bit of damage as its overpin behavior compared to 450 is a bit different. Interesting.
Considering that, like, 450, when it does hit a sprinter, it does quite a bit of damage, especially backed up by that T20.
If Pyrope can get
kind of surprised at
on the sprinters at sea, she might actually be able to mop up.
Pyrope currently trying to swing their Bloodhound onto the other grouping of them, see if she can retarget and retask there. Like we said, the 450 liner's just not able to get anything done this game, but every other asset on OSP, for how, like, rough of a shock they got, they're doing a decent job pivoting now.
MMT.
Potato Master will step onto E point here.
It's, swing and a miss from the MMT missiles on one of Dragonbender's last effective ships here.
We will take a hit on one, though. Also taking 250 fire from across the map, as Mink is going to open up with a free real estate.
Yep. This is looking a lot better for OSP than I thought it was. If Pyrope's able to win this fight up top, OSP is going to be in a pretty decent spot here. Also, whoa. How the hell is that thing not detected? Does this thing not have a radar? Oh no! Look at Dagger. We have a gun capper passing within, what is that, like 2 kilometers of a radarless sprinter there. Although one with a
Wondering
radar
about that. Yeah, the
does
bonsai
round the
finally gets
corner.
pinged
Yep.
over here by one of these ships.
Now Vigil
I
rounds the
know which
corner
one.
here as Potato Master begins to take fire. Potato Master needs to pivot those guns from Bonsai onto target, see if they can survive long enough. Although, yeah, that's a lot of RPF going in. Although,
Yeah, that might be
yeah,
a little too
unfortunate.
late. There, 1, 2, 3 of them, all guns active. That is going to be a very, very sad shuttle.
Broadside on, yep. OSP.
ANS consolidating towards Seaside, 750 points on the board on the next tick. Come on, don't leave me hanging. There we go, 750 even.
Potato
OSP with a
does-
2 cap and 524. ANS just needs to hold on to their cap advantage for a little bit longer, and then OSP will be required to take a 4 cap.
Arrow looks...
E-Point's multi-mission tug has been bled from its nose there. It just gets shot from multiple different angles by these guns. It will not be able to make that cap happen. Despite
Unfortunately.
ANS kind of giving up a bunch of their advantage, bleeding some of their ships off, and admittedly not great fights, they're holding a good advantage in this game.
They are, yes. They are down to 2 Sprinter Balls. One of them is pretty heavily damaged, that being Krulio's here. Lots of thrusters missing. Velocity is pretty intact, although they have been forced to split off some of their ships here. OSP is actually in a pretty decent position here to start retaking some territory. Pyrope sending some pumpkin bombs down to E-Point there. It looks like Secret Mink is rushing their carrier onto Eclipse as well. It does have a deck gun. It might be able to clean up Eclipse and allow OSP to retake E.
T20 Journeyman, with the amount of beef that this hull has in it, will do decently against these sprinters if it can get into a fight. Effective firepower is equivalent to a T20 shuttle in this, and it has more than enough health bar.
Right.
That said, OSP is very thin on the hull count right now. Potato Master trying to get towards that C point. Pyro trying to do their best with their liner to provide overwatching fire support. They've got a radar radar monitor hiding in the back. Mink has a carrier trying to go somewhere and is stuck on the D point with their 250 liner. And then we've got Vren, whose only ship left is this Bloodhound tug.
Dragon Bid are down to 2 cappers on E, and the Journeyman still has enough light strike to clean that up.
Yeah,
Secret Mink now pivoting to Boxer. This might suddenly pivot. If Pyrope's able to
Vren also moving their way towards Boxer.
OSP,
there
if
is
OSP
3 ships from Velocity guarding that,
if OSP is able to get onto points in time, this might turn around pretty quickly.
ANS, though, still getting further and further ahead with that 3 cap. Time is really running out for OSP to make something happen
although,
here.
Yeah, several misplays from ANS leave OSP a pretty decent window to retake this one.
Yeah.
Are continuing to engage on C. Are they going to move into C? Yeah, Pyrope moving towards C right now.
Call has been made from the team. They know they need to get onto points, and soon. Potato Master trying to get onto the C point, but is seen off as Crow. How do you pronounce it again?
Really?
Prolojex?
Rilo.
I see a cat in that, so I'm calling them cat for now. Yeah, they're going to pummel the Redwood monitor here as it just gets destroyed by 250 AP. Structure break and all other components going down.
Pyrope now engaging Velocity, who pivots around the side here. These Corvettes are facing the wrong direction. Drives towards Pyrope right now. One of them is facing the right direction. The other one's not. Are pivoting back behind cover here as Krulio pushes from the top, taking advantage of Pyrope being distracted there. That is 2 Sprinter Balls now going to Pyrope. Pyrope builds their liners tough, but not tough enough to really...
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to build a liner tough enough to take a proper Sprinter Ball. Frello here is pretty healthy and going to just hold down the trigger as we see the Queen Pomegranate. Despite its ability to lay down good, accurate fire, it's got 4 damage control teams and is not
this
like
thing's
super
gonna get torn
tanky.
apart pretty quickly here.
Triple plank control, 2 gun plots. That's a lot of squish. That is now, as we see with the Mass Driver, getting knocked ineffective. Magazine going to get shot out here. It's on borrow time, Chief.
Yep.
They're not going to let up.
Nope, the double push from 2 different sides is going to end this liner. Really nice play from Krulio and Velocity up top and showing that they hold C. Although every single other point on the board is now in danger of being taken by OSP right now. Secret Mink trying to get onto Boxer. Despite being double drive, this liner's not moving. Thruster failure? Free real estate in the back. It's trying to roll to engage its C. Secret Mink needs to put pressure on Boxer if OSP wants a chance.
Potentially was trying to go towards B point, but might think twice and decide to try and hold D side here. Yeah, they're doubling back towards D
The
side, it looks like, not wanting a back cap as there's just, well, there's 40 sprinters on the board, so they could be anywhere.
OSP can't risk the OSP can't do that right now. They have to play risky if they need the points right now. They can't afford to hold the points they have. They need to push out into new ones. Pyrope just getting absolutely
Velocity
decimated.
going
up
to
top.
engage Pyrope here, and also looks like they're moving towards A-point side. Yeah, anywhere that OSP leaves, ANS just has the speed to immediately rush in towards.
Right.
Pyrope not able to fight back right now. All of their guns are offline. The magazine might not be dead, but it's going to stay red for the entire rest of this game. Managed to do a cool trick there, spinning with the rock to get their guns into arc here, but it's not going to matter, unfortunately, for this.
Nope.
450 just does
From
nothing.
the side. It should be worth noting that Pyrope is also at a 450 AP. They are forced to fire AP at this point. E-point now being taken by OSP as the carrier from Secret Ming steps on point. RPF going into it. It appears that these cappers think that this is a gun shuttle. Oh no, it gets
Well, it now has the armor of one. Reactor Bloom on the, which point is that? E-point? E-point. Yep. Fighters just barely getting off the deck wondering, I wonder what that noise was.
Yep,
Instantly gets eviscerated.
OSP had a win condition there, but unfortunately just on the wrong spots in the repush as the quad sprinter ball takes this one for ANS, and it's now 1-1. Maintenance Is A Birch and ghyghry are now tied, and we will go into a third round here.
Birch will be allowed to pick the third map they play on. Take a look through the fleets here. Have to do like a damage tally, but seeing these sprinters pulling like about 5k apiece, I'm happy to say each of these players pulled like, what do you say, like 30 to 40k on a good fight?
Sprinter balls hurt. OSP did a pretty good job of holding there. ANS, despite having a lot of advantages there, threw away a lot of their ships in really strange ways there. Davenant did not need to sacrifice themselves for a like they did right there. They probably could have played it a bit safer. They just rushed in and died. And even when they rushed in, they didn't really do it properly. They should have tried to get behind that liner at multiple angles.
I think a lot of it is Neb cap brain acting, where you want to get on the point, but the point doesn't matter until it does, in a sense. They had plenty of time to worry about the fighting ships rather than go for the caps there.
Potato Master pretty good with the back caps there. Unfortunately, there was just so many sprinters around the map that their back cappers would take a point and get immediately discovered. Pyro
Bombshell's able to rack up some damage over the course of the game, but as we saw there when facing Sprinter Ball, just got shot out or jammed out. Pyro pulling a respectable 37k despite all the stuff there. Mass Driver pulling almost 9k, so
remember that the Mass Driver's damage value is very inflated. Not actually sure how that reflects when it's targeted against sprinters. I know that it's super inflated when you target capitals and such, but Pyro did a pretty good job of actually containing two of the sprinter balls at sea, but unfortunately was forced to in too well. Secret
Mink's liner here, 17k.
Yep, and this is a
AP used 0.
1,200 point J-Man with only R2 strike point. Respectable damage there.
I like the Journeyman a lot for that role, just being a light carrier. You get the checkbox of we have fighter craft on our team. We can do a little bit with that in the cap ward or scouting purposes with those Winards that we saw. Quite a nice kind of just more stuff fleet. Cap guards, couple of rocket shuttles that didn't get to do much these games, but still one got a strike off.
And then unfortunately, Vren was the canary in the coal mine when it came to identifying what ANS had brought. Gets caught out in the open there. Drives go down on the liner. Even the one that had the big drive, its drive got knocked out pretty early there. In front of two sprinter balls, those liners are just going to get hurt, especially without proper support. And unfortunately, Rim was unable to really do much there. Would have been a pretty different match if Rim was able to pull out with the liners there. Would have been able to get some other points. This was nearly an OSP victory in the end. They almost had it in the bag, but a couple of misplays at the very end sealed their fate.
Yeah, ANS definitely coming in with the all-in comp. Funnily enough, in the last tournament, the all-hands-on-deck tourney, you might remember a certain game, 11 Seals doing a all-in rush. Goes to show on a map like this, speed is powerful. Yeah,
no, I don't remember that one at all. Who could have played that one? Who knows?
Surely not.